here for the Bricks, broadcast from BPR Studios. Here for another quick Bricks update. Now this past week, we saw the first glimpse of the NFL season with the preseason games for everyone around the league. And the Detroit Lions starting off. The Detroit Lions look like they have probably the best combination or top three combination in the entire league. And Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson don't look like they've lost a step or missed a beat. They picked up right where they left off last year. And though he didn't quite reach that 2,000-yard mark, I still feel like he won't reach that yard mark this year either, because I feel like he has more weapons, and they're really going to be utilizing a lot of their tight end sets and things like that. And you're now adding Reggie Bush out of the backfield. And I just don't see him being able to get as many opportunities with the catches. I feel like he will exceed his touchdown number. He will get upwards of 18 to 22 touchdowns this year. But I don't feel like he will get the yards because of all the other weapons that they have to use now. So that looked pretty good, man. Matthew Stafford really has cemented himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Megatron, of course, the best wide receiver in the league. Without a doubt, he still just looks unguardable. He just looks like pitch and catch every time this guy's out there. One thing I've seen, the offensive line looks to be gelling. They look to be pretty good. Riley Reef is, sort of taking over the tackle spots, and he looks pretty good out there. And pass protection doesn't seem to be a problem or issue, not only for Matthew Stafford, but when Kellen Moore came there, he looked very impressive and very comfortable in there. He looks like a great, solid backup for the future, and then possibly a nice little bargaining chip that they may have picked up in Kellen Moore. He may be able to allow them to grab a high draft pick a couple years down the line if they can continue to develop him, and which shows you that Scott Linehan's offense is a pretty good offense, and that I don't feel like that's the problem or the issues. As the talent is upgrading and guys are getting more comfortable and established in his system, it seems to be working out for him. So that was a good sign. One negative, and it points to the offensive line as well, is run blocking. I mean, no push at all. I mean, I don't see a difference whatsoever as far as the offensive line. I mean, they'd have to get meaner, nastier, better run block. I see no push off the line of scrimmage. That's one thing. None of the running backs looked impressive instead of Reggie Bush, but none running between the tackles. And it seems like they're going to want to use him a little bit through the tackles, this season for Reggie Bush. I mean, he had one impressive play when he, bounced it outside and made the hurdle. That was one thing, but there's no holes opening up. I mean, if they want to be a more effective offense this year and not put all the pressure on Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, then I think they need to really, find a way to open some holes down there for those running backs. Really have to do that. That's the one gaping, thing I've seen. But sticking with that, Reggie Bush, he really looks impressive. He really looks like, he's going to be a guy that, really fits into not only this team, but, the city of Detroit. The city of Detroit already loves him. He was the top guy people were looking for to get autographs from, next to, Cal and Matthew Stafford. But just to see how excited he is to be here and what he's bringing, you have him hurdling people on, the first preseason game. Him being so excited and getting amped up and revved up by the crowd. He really is taking it all in. He really seems to love it here. So he's kind of like, it's kind of like his rookie season all over again. He really wants to show the city of Detroit that, he wants to be here and that he's looking to make a pretty good mark here. He has pretty much the same type of enthusiasm for the city as Nate Burleson has, where he just adopted it, seems to, immediately. A lot of, questions about Calvin Johnson before he resigned and about bringing other stars here was people say, what is it to do in Michigan? What is it to do in Detroit? Nobody wants to be here. But these guys seem to, come here and get acclimated right away and fall in love with the city. So there's a lot to offer. Guys do love being here, so it takes the right fit for anything, but it definitely shows you that the city of Detroit can attract the top market players. On the defensive side of the ball is, the secondary still. I've seen, just times where they look out of place and they really don't, it doesn't seem like it's as much as a deficiency in talent, because it seems like they have speed and real players now. Like, that's one thing I've seen from them they have real players and real guys that can actually cover and do things and make stuff happen. But Darius Slay looks like a bona fide star out there. And if you can keep him and Louis Delmas and Glover Quinn, a real safety, well, I mean, if those guys can stay healthy, they'll be all right. But some of the things, the miscues, you just don't want to see it. I know it's first preseason game and guys really get into it, but you really just don't want to see the broke down plays and guys just running open for touchdowns and stuff like that. That's really not a good sight to see. On the other end, the defensive line looks outstanding. Looks ridiculous. Typical Detroit Lions defensive line. That's one thing that we've always had here. With the Robert Porchers and guys like, we've always had that. A stout defensive front. Even the Sean Rogers and all these different people. We always had that. And Ezekiel Ansah, the first-round pick, guy, I was saying, by the third, fourth game, he should be starting. I mean, he may be able to, make that a reality. He scored the first touchdown of the game, an interception by Mark Sanchez, and ran it back for a touchdown. I mean, it shows that these guys are enthused, man. They out here, they got people slap happy right now, because everybody's on 10, everybody's amped and geeked up and excited for the season. I think the preseason game really did that for a lot of people. Really, where the Lions team's going to be at, you really don't know much from until week 3 when you have guys playing it up until the second half. You know what I mean, to the third quarter. So that's where you really get an indication of the talent. But so far, man, the defensive line looks outstanding. Nick Fairley, man, he may be challenging Ndamukong Suh, man. I mean, a lot of times I watch him, he's just always in position, and he's always strong to every point. He doesn't look really out of position. Suh, a lot of times, he's pass rushing, even when it's a, run-stopping defense. That's the one thing. Suh just still is kind of, hyper when it comes to that. He's just a little out of control, but I like it. Actually, I love it. I'd rather have that, than... And you seeing a guy like, man, why can't you get through the line? Why can't you do anything? He has a powerful first step, and sometimes he can make up for that. And now with Fairley out there and Ezekiel Ansah with some speed, I mean, he doesn't lose too much. It really just intimidates, an offensive line by having that guy with that step, just always charging, always full steam ahead. On the offensive side, biggest critical need is the offensive line needs to create an offensive push for the running game, and defensively, the secondary, just has to kind of tighten things up just a little bit. Lions pretty good for the first outing. Stay tuned for the breaks. Ken Boyer.